had high hopes for farmland preservation. Millions of acres of farmland were still in production, but yet at the same time, there was an enormous rush to develop those farmlands. At the very beginning of the farmland preservation program, there was a lot of suspicion within the farming community as to whether this program would work or not.
The rumor was that if you sold a farmland preservation easement, that your land wouldn't be worth anything anymore. You wouldn't be able to sell it to anybody else. To demonstrate how this could be done, we bought this farm that had been subdivided and immediately put it up for sale, minus its farmland preservation easement. Sold it right away. And that news got around through that farmer network in a matter of minutes. And it really got the farmland preservation underway by eliminating that war story that wasn't true.
Because that's a unique program. As I go around the country, there are really not many programs like that across the nation, and I talk to other elected officials and they're fascinated by that approach to preserving farmland.
We weren't sure what farmland values would do. Everybody say, well, you're ruining your land, you took everything. And the demand for farmland grew at a faster rate than it did for development land. Thank goodness for farmland preservation, because it allowed me to take that money and invest it into irrigation and other aspects to help minimize my risk for the entire operation. If I was carrying these large commercial mortgages with unpreserved ground, there's no way I'd be in business. Your land values are still holding good value. So there's equity there, so when you have the financial downturn of a poor growing year, you still have something to fall back on and you use your money wisely.
We also need to get back on track to focus on where we need to preserve land, to educate particularly farmers with a farmland preservation program that they actually get some cash in hand for doing it, and yet the land is still theirs. They don't have to worry about losing their title, and they can sell it in the future. It just can't ever be developed, and they can keep that money for the sale.
There are a lot of challenges in dealing with the demands for what remains of developable land in this state. Of course, there's demands for housing and businesses, but we also have the need for clean water and the need for good soils for food production. We have a very vibrant agricultural industry in this state. Those farms are going to be even more important to us as time goes on. We've learned the importance of local food and how vital that is to just our sustainability.
New Jersey is a fantastic place to be a farmer if you can do it economically, because you have your market so close by. Eventually, we're not going to be able to afford the kind of thing we have now, where we're shipping grapes and strawberries across the country from California or up from Chile. The price of oil and gasoline is just going to keep going up, and it's not going to be affordable. So it's even more important that we be able to maintain the ability to grow the produce and crops that we need locally.
We came here 30 years ago. Gail had always wanted to live on a farm. A friend had told me there were farms in the Princeton area, and Gail took it from there.
It was the last of 6 farms we saw, and this was exactly the place I wanted to be.
In the early days of the state preservation program, Gail and Fred Gardner could have sold the development rights and taken money from the state, but still decided to donate them anyway. And this is a beautiful little farm perched on the north side of the Sourland Mountains in East Amwell Township. And it's a really cute farm with lots of horses, border collies, sheep, and trails everywhere. So it's heaven for wildlife enthusiasts, a heaven for animal lovers. And Gail and Fred have just been great stewards of that land, and also real movers and shakers in their own community and preservation.
When I was growing up, I grew up on a 40-acre farm in Haddam, Connecticut. After my father sold it, 20 years later, I went and saw what had happened. Either the farmer then or the next farmer planted houses in it. And when we got this place, I said, I never want this to happen to my farm.
Whether you're driving through a farmland area or you're looking at a beautiful vista, hiking on a trail, it's my hope that you and your future generations will benefit from it. We've made such progress. We have a foundation to build on now. If we can continue building on that foundation, this state will continue to be the Garden State.